What I want to do is let the states run schools. I believe strongly in school choice, but in addition to that, I want the states to run schools, and I want Linda to put herself out of a job.
I love this topic. He wants one cabinet position to become redundant as soon as possible. The Education Secretary, Linda McMahon, wasting no time executing the task after her confirmation vote. She immediately sent out the agency's, quote, final message.
She says, quote, we must start thinking about our final mission at the department as an overhaul, a last chance to restore the culture of liberty and excellence that made American education great.
With us now is America First Policy Institute Center for Education Opportunity Chair and Optima Ed founder, Erika Donalds, one of our favorites. She's been on top of this subject from the beginning. We love it.
Well, thanks so much for having me. And what a celebration it is now that Linda McMahon is our Secretary of Education, our final Secretary of Education, if Trump gets his way and is able to make good on the promise he made numerous times on the campaign trail to the American people to return the power of education to the states and to parents. As our school choice president, I'm excited to hear what he has to say about education tonight. I'll be in the gallery to hear it. But as Linda said, it is time for the final frontier of federal intervention in education. It hasn't worked. It's wasted a lot of money. We trust parents and communities to do it better.
Well, and of course, the argument is there is no one-size-fits-all model, and that the states are more equipped to be able to allocate funds, to understand what the constituents need, what the parents need, what their children need at school, and that they can better, apportion those funds to make the system successful again. Yet on the other side, you've got the Democrats who are fighting this because they love the one-size-fits-all model. It wastes money and it produces a little group of communist, children coming up the ranks that will later lead this country.
It comes down to the fact that Democrats do not trust parents to make decisions for their own children. However, we Republicans, we want parents who care the most about their children to be the ones who make those decisions and have the power of the purse to walk when a student is not performing as expected or as expected by those parents in the school that they are in. It's less government. It's more individual liberty when it comes to education. President Trump is going to make it happen.
Mm.
Now, this is why he's more beholden to parents than he is the teachers union, and that's what makes him a great president on this topic. All right, let's move on to this. President Trump is taking a zero-tolerance approach to disruptive demonstrations on college campuses and schools.
He says, quote, all federal funding will stop for any college, school, or university that allows illegal protests. Agitators will be imprisoned or permanently sent back to the country from which they came. American students will be permanently expelled or, depending on the crime, arrested, no masks. We've seen a lot of outrage from across America, basically, because of what we've seen on these college campuses. It's time they're held accountable.
Absolutely. President Trump is right to bring accountability to these college campuses where the administration looked the other way when there was violence, harassment of Jewish students because of their religious faith, when there was vandalism, when there were people coming onto college campuses and trespassing, frankly, wearing masks to hide their identities. So he is right to do this. We have every right as a country not to fund institutions that will not uphold the law. And so I think it sends a strong message to those colleges and universities. This will no longer be tolerated.
No, that's the way it should be. We got to ask you one other question. Your husband, Congressman Donalds, put his hat in the ring. He's running for the governor of Florida. What's the pitch to the people of Florida?
Listen, Florida has been so good to us. We met back in college at Florida State University after he came with just a trunk of clothes on a Greyhound bus. And we came from nothing, but the education we received in Florida, we built our careers, we built our families, and we want that for all Floridians. Florida is an incredible state. It is the free state of Florida. It's where everyone wants to be, and it's a model for the rest of the country. I believe that my husband, Byron Donalds, can carry it forward into the future. He has a great conservative record, both in the state House and in Congress. He can be trusted to continue the best state in the country's record.
Yeah, and a lot of the red states across the country, including Florida, have set up a model for really success. I think that your husband, if he was elected governor of Florida, will continue to do that. But some of the undertones of what we've seen come out of that state will be also in this address tonight as the president's addressing the nation and talking about how he's going to fix things and make good on the promises that he made. Just final thoughts on what you expect to hear, the emotions there, and of course, what the counter arguments will be.
Yeah, and we're so grateful to have President Trump's support, too, for Byron's candidacy for governor. You know, Trump has been an incredible ally for those of us who supported him, not just through the 2016 election, through the 2020 election, through 2024, and now into the golden age of America. I think President Trump is going to cast a vision for all Americans of what America can be. He has made good on the promises that he made on the campaign trail. And now we have a bright future ahead of us where we are all putting America first. It's very difficult for Democrats to disagree with this. Their constituents agree that there's waste and fraud and abuse in the government. They want to see us put America first over overseas interest, over ideology. And President Trump is going to be the president for all Americans tonight and cast that vision for the golden age.
Yeah, it is amazing. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. I think Byron Donalds would be a great governor, and you'd be a great first lady. So good luck to the two of you as you move forward on that. Thank you so much for joining us.